we were asked by Space Crystals, who contracted T-Star. So T-Star is our sponsor, Space Crystals is the end user. And we were asked by Space Crystals to create a container for crystals that were going to the moon. And that's all we had at the beginning. So we were basically handed a very vague card that said, Space Crystals, go to moon. Okay, and that's where the really important first stage of an engineering project begins, where you go to the customer and find out what's really important to them. So you want crystals. How many crystals? Is it important the exact number of crystals or just approximately the number? The density of the crystals, the different thermal requirements, so how hot can the crystals get, how cold can they get? We also wanted, the customer wanted to include a memory storage device with the crystals as well. So what kind of memory storage device? Do you want something solid state, or do you want something that has power? What are all the requirements that you have as a customer to make this project a success in your eyes?
So first, at the very bottom, we have the mounting plate, which bolts to the lander. And then there are bolts coming in from the top that clamp every section together. So we have, one of the things we wanted to make, or one of the things the sponsor wanted was for the container to be modular. So if they had more or less customers, they could basically stack rings and change the shape, the size of the container to match the number of customers they had. So you can see we have 3 rings, and those 3 rings would give us 556 crystals. So each of those rings locks together and has kind of these standoffs that keep the center container in position. We then have our lid, which is the same for each container, as well as the base plate, which is the same. So then on the inside, we have a layer. At the top there's a layer of aerogel, and that helps with thermal insulation. And then we have a carbon fiber inner container, which actually contains the crystals, and those are custom for each size.
The ingenious thing I had the students think about, or come up, this is what they came up with, but the problem I had then was, we don't know how many customers we're gonna have, right? So our target is 266 for the first flight. The max we can fly is 522. So I said, how are we going to deal with the potential size expansion? So what they did was they came up with this. This is the carbon fiber thing that goes in between. So if we don't fly as many, we just take some levels off. So depending on how many we fly, we can just take or add or remove layers.
Ultimate goal was to design something that made sense for our customer, was easy to use, easy to develop, and that we could provide all the necessary documentation that they could replicate every step in our process.
We literally we gave them the overall idea, this is what we're trying to accomplish, this is what we're trying to do, and then you use your big brains and you figure out how to make this happen. We're not here to tell you what to build. We're telling you what we want, and you tell us what's possible. And that's when they came up with the whole stackable system. And it was like, wow, okay, that's really cool. Like I said, because say, for example, we get excess capacity and we can fly more, then we could, stack it out, right? So it was really fun working with them. Like I said, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of passion, a lot of creativity. And ultimately, we're all looking forward to seeing this thing fly.
So we had to be clever sometimes and figure out, how do we take the resources that we have and use those to accurately test the article to realistically imitate the final environment that the product's going to see. So that was the most difficult. The most rewarding, I would say,
I would say when it passed all its tests.
Yeah.
We didn't have to redesign it after that.
That was really good. At the day that we knew it would actually work. So just the idea that we started with, like I said, a very generic description of, we want to put space crystals on the moon. And we got from there to, here are 2 prototypes, one that we tested and we know it works. Have fun going to the moon. So that was a really, I guess, satisfying culmination to 6 months of some of the hardest work I've ever done.